To Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Hello, everyone. Margie Taylor, Taylorize PR. Our show is Conroe Culture News, and we are at irlonestar.com, live streaming FM 104.5, 106.1 out of downtown Conroe City Hall, Lone Star Community Radio, also on our City TV, cable TV in Conroe. We are also Conroe Culture News, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. So today we are featuring, it's going to be a conversation about veterans and resources. And, you know, I know it's a little late, but Veterans Day is every day. We should respect our veterans every day. So we're not really late. We're just extending it a little bit so that it's still on top of your mind. So the first segment will be Marcey Phillips. She is the commander of VFW 4709. And in the second segment will be Brian Talley. He's a podcast host, author of The Tally Bill, and a motivational speaker, U.S. Marine veteran. So we will hear from him in the second half. The show is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic and Team Sinisi Real Estate Group. Team Sinisi Real Estate Group can help you with investing, buying, selling, all of that. Just call him up, and he serves the greater Montgomery County as the best source for any of your real estate needs. 281-507-9777, Team Sinisi, because it's an easy name to remember. Roger Stein Chiropractic. They have been in business a very long time, and they are located at 3033 West Davis, across from Conroe High School and by Taco Bell. Everybody knows where that is, on 105 West Davis. So she helps people from infants to seniors, weekend athletes to professionals, with a focus on natural holistic healing to not only relieve pain, but achieve optimal health. She holds certifications in adjusting extremities, arm, legs, hands, feet, clinical nutrition, prenatal, and pediatric care. If you are not a patient already, it's under $30 to go see her for your first visit, and it all goes back to CASA and kids in CPS custody. So that is Roger Stein Chiropractic. So a few things happening around this. Don't you love the weather? I do. I turned on my heater today for the first time in a very long time. Probably April, I think, was the last time. I forgot even how to turn it on. So the weather is changing. It's a little rainy today, and we should have weather in the 50s this week. But then after that, next week is Thanksgiving. Can you believe it's Thanksgiving already? November usually just flies by. Well, so what's happening around us? The Conroe Art League is having their annual Fine Arts and Crafts sale at the Maidley Gallery, 11 to 4, and that starts tomorrow through Friday. You can pick up creative and original Christmas gifts while supporting local artists. So that's a good thing. CYT Houston is hosting the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella at the Crichton Theater. That opened last weekend, and that will continue Friday through Sunday with four performances. They have a matinee and an evening performance on Saturday. And you can get tickets for that at cythouston.org, not at the Crichton. So remember that. The annual 5K Turkey Trot, hosted by the City of Conroe, is this Saturday because, again, Thanksgiving is coming up, so they're having it this Saturday at the Carl Barton Jr. Park. The race begins at 9 a.m. You can register online at cityofconroe.org, and you could probably register right before the race starts at 9 a.m. as well, out at the park. And I hope you have this on your calendar for the annual Christmas tree lighting and Christmas on Main. That is happening the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, November 29th. It's always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and it starts at 6:30. Both activities start at 6:30. The tree lighting, and then after the tree lighting, about 3,000 people go down to Christmas on Main, and it's unique. This is the 6th annual one where the vendors open up all their doors and they decorate their windows. You get to pick which one has the best window. You get little wooden tokens. You get tickets for a raffle that happens about 8:15 at Founders Plaza Park to win bikes and other goodies. There's Santa Claus at Mimi's on Main. There's refreshments, there's cookies, there's candy canes, there's characters walking around like the Grinch. There's a lot of fun stuff. It's all entirely free. So you just walk the 2 blocks from Heritage Park and suddenly you're in a Christmas wonderland. So go and check that out. The tree lighting and the Christmas on Main Tuesday, November 29th. So, oh, and there's Clydesdales, too. You don't want to miss those huge, beautiful horses. That will also, you cannot miss that. So I just wanted to mention that. And one last thing. Did you know that you can have a Sunday brunch at the Red Brick Tavern and have a gospel music group playing? Yes, the Jim Sloan Band has been playing there for years, literally. It's on Sunday morning. And you never know what musical artist is going to jump in and play with them. It's fabulous. So shop local and get ready for the holidays. Here they come. We're going to take a quick break and be back with Marcey Phillips, commander of VFW Post 4709.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dan Simon, Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Team Sinisi is a proud sponsor of Conroe Culture News. Vinny Sinisi and his professional team provide comprehensive real estate services throughout the greater Montgomery County area and beyond. Whether looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, Team Sinisi has an impeccable reputation. Contact Team Sinisi for a great experience at teamsinisi.com. That's TEAMSINISI.com.
And we are back. I'm sitting across from Marcey Phillips and the puppy, Beignet. Although I can't see her.
under
There
the
she
table
is.
now.
She's hiding under the table. And Marcey is the commander at VFW Post 4709 here in Conroe. And so she's going to tell us a little bit about what you might already know and what you don't know, and educate you about what they do, what they represent in Conroe and for veterans.
Yes.
So, Marcey, first of all, where is it?
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We are just north of Candy Cane Park at 1303 West Siemens. We have a gigantic Vietnam-era helicopter out front on a stick. So that's how you know you found us, when you
Right
find
off
the
the
helicopter
feeder.
on the stick. Yeah.
Right past, is it right past Outback?
Yes.
Yes,
ma'am.
right past Outback and what's the other one?
Saltgrass.
Saltgrass.
Take a right on
I think
the
of the
street
steak,
just
but I
past them.
couldn't think of what it was called. Okay, Saltgrass. So it's right there. So who is the VFW open to?
The VFW is open to everybody and just some people, depending on what you're going for. So the Veterans of Foreign Wars itself is for veterans who have had some type of service where they've received an expeditionary medal, hazardous or imminent duty pay. So there's a huge list of criteria that may qualify somebody. They may not even realize if you spent 30 days in Korea, you qualify.
Oh, you do?
Because they didn't sign a peace treaty. They just signed an armistice. So we actually.
So as long as you've been
welcome-
deployed out of the country.
Yes, ma'am, pretty much.
Okay.
There's rumor that there's some imminent fire pay here. I've never seen it on any of our qualifications, but people are arguing that one right now. If they end up accepting that at national, it'll happen. We are open to the public for our bingo sessions, and we have memberships to another part of the post for first responders and all honorably discharged veterans and family. So we've got a lot of different ways you can come on in and join us, and we're pretty open. We love to take care of our community. That's what we're here for.
So before we talk about the bingo, let's talk about you. Talk to me about your service and all of that.
I was in the Army. I did 8 years in communications. Absolutely loved it. I did 1 deployment to Iraq. When my husband was injured, that's when I went ahead and finished up my enlistment and didn't re-enlist. So stayed home with him, and yeah, he's doing great now. So
Very good. And how long have you been commander?
started in July. I've been in the VFW since 2006, but I took over command, if you will, July 1.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
What do you say when people say that?
I'm honored. I truly am. I miss it. I'm honored to have served. And when people say thank you, those are the kind of people that, we were proud to have served. There's not everyone is grateful. The people who are make it all worth it.
I've heard some people say, well, the reply back is, you were worth it.
you go. That's
My
a good
son
one.
always asks, what do I say, Mom? I said, you say thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. It's an honor is usually
Yeah,
how I put
yeah.
it. So.
Okay, so let's talk about bingo. When is bingo?
So we have 5 different sessions, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 7, another late night on Friday at 10:30, and then Sundays at 2.
So like 4 different times.
4 different.
And so people just show up and they can play bingo
Just show up and play.
and win prizes and money and blah, blah,
win
blah?
money. Yeah, it's
Okay,
cash
win money. So the good thing is you get part of the proceeds, right? The
We
VFW
do.
Hall does.
So Texas Lottery Commission regulates charitable bingo here in Texas. And what we do is we take our proceeds in, and those net proceeds afterwards go to a nonprofit. So we've supported many, many nonprofits here in the area with the proceeds from that. We can utilize the proceeds to help fix our aging building and things like that. A lot of the repairs that we've needed recently, bingo proceeds help with that. But we've also helped Sunny Creek Ranch, the Memorial Commission that's here in City Hall. Lots of different nonprofits have benefited from our bingo sessions and from our bingo players coming in and having fun and spending a little bit of cash.
So it's a good trendy thing. Even younger people are playing bingo
Oh, yes.
now.
Big time.
I know my son goes and plays bingo, but he does it in Washington State, and they win like salmon and shrimp and stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it's different. But I mean, what I'm saying is, it's good for anybody.
It is.
And it gives back to the veterans.
Yes.
And then you use it to operating, your building or to help other nonprofits.
Yes.
So it's a good thing. So I just wanted to mention that. But you also have you rent your hall?
We do. We do hall rentals. Usually, most of the time it's Saturdays, but we've had some people during the week now that have started renting it out. We've helped out some nonprofits, Blue Star Moms and things like that, with a place to meet as well. During the day, we have a Vietnam veterans group that meets there twice a month. So we do a lot of different things. Those, we don't charge rental on those once the membership approves it. Anytime it's a veterans type nonprofit, we can usually get away with not charging. Our membership loves to take care of those veterans groups. But the hall rentals, like for weddings and things like that, there is a charge. We have a
But it's not very much.
No, it's very minimal compared to a lot of rental locations. Now, granted, we don't look as snazzy as Conroe Tower, but we're there.
It's easier
and
to get to.
It is. That's true.
And the parking's easier.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a trade-off.
Right.
But yeah, we enjoy being able to give people the place to go to have that quinceañera or their wedding or reception, or we've had a lot of birthday parties lately, like 85th birthday parties. We've had a lot of those. So it's been nice.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. So let's talk about things, other things that y'all do that nobody knows about because it's not online or whatever. So you know the deep, dark secrets.
The deep, dark secrets. The VFW is a veteran service organization. So what we do is we provide resources to help veterans and their families in the community get back on their feet, or find what they need to find to get their claims, or help them through a process that's difficult to navigate, whether it's getting enrolled in the VA or their GI Bill or something along those lines, or if it's something going on in their lives that they're struggling with. A lot of times we have vets come in at their worst, and we don't advertise that. That's something that it's hard for us to put on Facebook. I know I mentioned the other day when I saw you, we had 2 suicidal vets come in within a 3-day period. And that's something that we don't advertise. We're there, and we should advertise that we're there for people, but it's not always easy to say, hey, we know that we had someone in here, and look at us, we helped this person.
No, but maybe you could say we have resources to help you with all of your needs, something like that. And here's the number to call. Reach out to us, and if we can't help you, we'll direct you to someone who can. Yeah.
And I mean, homelessness, we've helped a ton of vets, especially lately, with bills to prevent eviction, and to go through different resources in addition to ourselves. So you
partner with other nonprofits?
Exactly.
Like Tri-County. Do you partner with Tri-County?
We work with Tri-County, Baker Ripley, Sunny Creek Ranch is one that we've partnered with a lot. I've watched them save lives, and it's been neat to see the transformations. And when we have someone that we can take and get them together, partner them with whatever resource, and then watch that person thrive afterwards, it makes
rewarding.
Yes, it makes every single sleepless minute worth it, because we do lose some sleep over those guys. We, whenever we have somebody who's going through a hard time, we stay up with them. We do whatever we can with them to help get them to the right place.
So do you have a team of people with different skill sets that can help
We do.
veterans?
We have, like, our chaplain. He's an ordained minister. He's been the pastor of a church for over 10 years and written books on PTSD and with spouses and things like that. He's helped with a lot of things and runs his own veterans nonprofit. So he's very in tune to the community as well, and what our veterans need. We have a list of people through, Department VFW that help with everything. Like, I'm the Department Buddy Poppy Chairman. What does that mean? People don't know what Buddy Poppies are. But if you get a little red flower from a VFW member, that's a Buddy Poppy. People don't know they're made by disabled veterans in hospitals. When we buy those flowers, we're paying for those veterans to have additional resources and things. We pay their bills. Any money that gets donated for a Buddy Poppy goes into our relief fund. And then that relief fund is used to pay those electric bills and car notes and prevent eviction for other veterans. So it comes full circle. And everyone thinks it's just a little red flower. It's a lot more than that. So,
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I do know the story of that.
Did you?
Yes, I do. So I thought of something else to ask you, and it just popped out of my head. So do you help with people with counseling and things like that, too?
We help get them to the right counselors.
Okay.
We don't want to ever portray ourselves as counselors, even though we have some people that are members that have that background. We want someone to be with a professional.
Sure.
And that's one of the things we facilitate. There are a lot of our people that are good listeners and can kind of help get the ball rolling and point people in the right
sometimes that's
direction.
what you just need, though, is a
Right.
good listener.
Right.
So whether it's suicide or PTSD or grief even, you can listen and then redirect if need be, right?
Correct. We have a lot of survivor's guilt that we see, which is kind of one of those untold things as well. Like, people don't like to admit that that's really what they're struggling with a lot of times. And so whenever that comes through the door, we kind of point them in a different direction than we do someone who's suffering with their own PTSD and for different reasons. So a lot of times it's just kind of knowing the right place to put them.
So survival guilt, that is something that you don't really hear about because you've been places that others have not, and you push that back inside.
Yes. It's difficult to talk about, whether you're the survivor or you're somebody who's caring for that survivor. It's hard to get someone to come to terms with the fact that maybe they're still here to serve a purpose, and there's a reason why they survived. Because a lot of times it feels like it would have been easier if you hadn't. So that's hard. It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. And people don't talk about that at all.
Right.
People don't talk about death really at all.
No.
I know that too.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about dogs.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk about dogs all day.
Dogs.
That's another unknown thing from the VFW. This is Beignet under the table. I know you can't see her. She's my service dog, and the VFW provided her for free. Texas VFW sponsors service dogs for vets. And if you come into our post, there's these little video games. Anything from those video games goes to service dogs. And those games are throughout the state of Texas at a lot of different posts. And it's really kind of neat the way that we're set up. She just won Service Dog of the Year, second place Service Dog of the Year. My entire goal with putting her in, I had 6 people reach out and say, you've got to apply. And I hesitated with the first 5 people. The 6th one put me over the edge, and I went ahead and applied. And the really neat thing was my goal with all of it was to educate other departments in the VFW of how we do our program so that they can see it and hopefully emulate that and help the veterans in those states as well. So through this process, I was able to get in front of the Hawaii, North Carolina, Alabama, and Oklahoma department commanders. So whether or not we made a difference, I'm not sure. If they're going to implement the same type
You're bringing
of program.
awareness.
Right. So if they don't implement that program, if they implement any type of program, these service dogs change lives. She helps me with seizure alerts, and I have not been in the ER for a seizure since I got her.
How does she do that?
They went through a huge training process, had a lot to do with collecting my saliva, which is gross, and sent it on and trained her how to react to the chemical changes that happened whenever I would have those seizures. So now
Interesting.
She gives me a little paw on the leg. If I don't listen, she jumps in my lap and won't let me up.
Wow.
She's very persistent. So
she goes everywhere.
everywhere. She's even been to surgery with me. They don't let her into the surgical suite, but she goes to pre-op and post-op. So they have a special little blanket they put on top, and she lays with me until I get about to go through the door. Then they pull her and that extra blanket off. And
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty special. And I'm blessed with a lot of facilities that have been open and understanding of having a service dog.
So how does one go about getting a service dog?
I can walk you
What
through
is the
whole
criteria?
process. The criteria it changes. A lot of it has to do with what your needs are. But you have to be able to care for the dog. We have had some people that don't have the ability from a home standpoint. Maybe they don't have a home as far as like they're kind of staying couch surfing. That's not the most conducive
So you need to be
environment.
stable.
Right. So you need to be pretty stable. Anyone who has had domestic abuse may still be eligible depending on what it was. If you've had any animal abuse, you are not eligible.
So it needs to be safe for the
yes,
for
a
the
safe
dog.
environment for the dog.
Yeah.
She cost about $60,000 to train total into her, and they don't want to put a dog with someone who may not be able to take care of the dog, and it could have helped another veteran. We can't turn out dogs as fast as the veterans need us, but it is a matching criteria where they'll take, for example, I'm not going to run 3 miles a day, and neither is she. But if there's a dog who needs to run 3 miles a day, they're going to go with a vet who is going to run. I don't run unless there's a dog chasing me. So it works out because she's lazy. So they make sure they pair everybody up really well.
the right match.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting. So, do they contact the VFW if they were
can.
interested in finding out what the criteria is?
Yes. So TexasVFW.org has a section on there called the Foundation. That foundation has an application process for the dogs, or they can just reach out to me. The VFW here, VFW 4709 Facebook page. You can call me on my cell. I don't care. I'll walk you through it to get you with the trainers and get you in front of the right people. So I'm happy to help with it.
That's very interesting. So, what other little secrets do you have?
So the VFW has lots of secrets. People don't realize, you don't want to know all of them. People don't realize how much we do for the community itself, such as those nonprofits that we donate to. We do a lot of community events, and people don't realize they're open to the public. So July 4th, our picnic in the park, our trunk or treat, we just had over 300 kids come through the line and enjoy all those trunks full of candy and indoor things as well. We do indoor garage sales that people can come and hang out and do whatever, and just a lot of different.
Of course, you just had Veterans Day.
Yes, Veterans Day. Veterans Day kind of got squashed a little bit this year for us. We always do a breakfast from 8 to 11, and then people go from there to the Memorial Park for their 11 o'clock. But this year, Memorial Park got moved to 9, so
It's just a little conflict.
Very abbreviated breakfast this
Yeah.
year, so we didn't do the full program that we normally do, but that's okay. We still served a lot of breakfast,
Yeah.
and got a lot of people back out there afterwards.
So, anything upcoming?
We've got a lot upcoming. We've got for Christmas, for Thanksgiving and Christmas, we do lunch for veterans and families. It is potluck style, but we provide all the meat and everything. So come on down. It's at 2 o'clock on Thanksgiving and 2 o'clock on Christmas Eve. We are here to help feed our veterans in the community that maybe don't have family anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of our older vets don't have that. We go to a lot of nursing homes, and we'll be gearing that up towards the holidays because they don't always have a lot of visitors. So like Heritage Oaks has their honor club is 15 different veterans there, and we just love to go and love on them and spend some time with them. So that's always a lot of fun. But we do 23 different commemorative dates throughout the year. And we like to make sure that we are honoring all of those veterans who, I like to say, they were trailblazers. They kind of helped pave the way for us to have the benefits that we have. And without them and without the opportunity to learn from them and learn from what they went through, we wouldn't be as well received in the community as we are. Our VFW has been around since 1945.
Wow.
And there was a whole lot of, transitions, whether it was the World War II vets not loving on the Vietnam vets not loving on Desert Storm, and, we've all learned from that.
Different segments,
And,
yes.
We've all learned from how we have those generational changes and trying to be more receptive. We're not the smoky old bar filled with old people who don't want anybody there. We open up to Bunko.
Yeah,
That's what we hear
picture.
all the time.
Right.
We're non-smoking in the bar, people. Come on.
Okay.
But we've got Bunko and Poquino and Texas Hold'em on Fridays and all kinds of fun stuff. So we're open to community and family, and that's what we're here for. We have an auxiliary, and they are all about family. They are the family members and the backbone of our post. So come check us out. We'd love to have you.
See it. Now, that sounds great. And people should just come by, check it out. It's very easy to find. I mean, you cannot miss it right off the freeway.
Right.
With the helicopter out there in the parking lot. It's huge.
Yes.
And it's right before a back entrance to Candy Cane Park,
Right.
before you go into the Conroe Senior Center. And I'm glad to have you on the show. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about the VFW 4709. You are I think you're very well known in the community.
I hope
because there's
so.
only a couple of VFW halls, aren't there?
There's 4 in the county.
I mean, there's one in Willis, right?
No, that's an American Legion.
Oh, that's American Legion. Okay.
We've got Porter, the Woodlands. We just opened one in Magnolia. They're brand new.
Right.
And then us.
I
So
remember that.
36,000 vets in Montgomery County and less than 2,000 in all 4 VFWs combined. So there's a lot more reach we can do.
Mm-hmm.
We need to really capture those vets, make sure that they know we're here for them and how we can help.
So you can go to Day-VFW4709.org.
Yes, ma'am.
Or you can go to find you on Facebook. It's very easy. Put it in the search box.
VFW
VFW
post
4709. Yeah, easy to
and
find.
our website's being upgraded, so don't hold out against us.
Just go
It's
to
being
Facebook.
fixed.
Send
Yeah,
a
go
message on Facebook
Yeah.
or call the number.
It's the
Something
easiest
like
way.
that. Well, thank you very much, Marcy. And your time is very much appreciated, and you're making a difference in the community and beyond.
Thank you. So are you. We appreciate you.
So are you, Beignet.
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Team Sinisi is a proud sponsor of Conroe Culture News. Vinny Sinisi and his professional team provide comprehensive real estate services throughout the greater Montgomery County area and beyond. Whether looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, Team Sinisi has an impeccable reputation. Contact Team Sinisi for a great experience at teamsinisi.com. That's TEAMSINISI.com.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with the Lone Star Community Radio.
Bell Institute, a 501c3 nonprofit, began in 2014 with a mission to strengthen the future of veterans through leadership and entrepreneurship training. We've invested over 1,400 hours of training in our veterans while connecting them with community entrepreneurs and leaders. Our mission is to continue investing who have given so much for our country. Please join us in our mission by visiting velinstitute.org. That's VELinstitute.org.
Hey, tune in to the Bridge Podcast TX Tuesdays at 11 a.m., where we are connecting commerce with community, interviewing business owners and leaders in the community, allowing the audience to peek behind the curtain of what inspires, motivates, drives these individuals to have meaningful, positive impact in this community. For more information about the show, log into irlonestar.com/TBPTX.
A Lone Star Community Radio is ready for the summer. If you or anyone you know is looking for summer internship opportunities, a Lone Star Community Radio is a great place to grab the mic and be on the air. A Lone Star Community Radio offers a great opportunity to those interested in learning about the radio world all year round. Be an on-air personality, talk show producer, or YouTube, TV, podcast editor. Contact the station at info@irlonestar.com or call the station's message line at 936-647-3776.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk,
music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
Hey, Brian, this is Margie. Thank you for coming on to the show remotely. We're also sitting here with Marcey Phillips, who's the commander of Post 4709, VFW Post 4709 in Conroe. This is Brian Talley, who's author of The Talley Bill, podcast host. So how's it going, Brian?
Thank you for having me, Margie. How are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good. I don't know if it's still raining, but of course it has been. And we were talking earlier how I'd turn on my heater for the first time since, I don't know, April, something like that.
Me too. I got to come out and be honest. I told my wife, you got to crank that heater up. I'm at my office and I'm freezing.
Right, yeah. So tell me a little bit of background about yourself.
I grew up in San Diego. I grew up with my mom and my brother, and a single, parent home, and would end up moving. So I would grow up in San Diego, and I would move to Colorado in high school, and I'd go through my high school years there. And then after that, I would join the United States Marine Corps and served my country, would get out as a sergeant, and then after the military service, I started a family, settled down, and was essentially living the American dream with 4 beautiful kids, a wife of over 20 years, a successful business, and then January of 2016 came, and that kind of changed the course of my life forever.
What happened?
I was in severe pain one day, and in its pain that you cannot describe, pain that literally put me on the floor of my bathroom where I was trying to find relief from the cold tiles. My body was going through something I had never experienced before. My bladder wasn't working. And the pain, again, was indescribable. My wife took me to the VA emergency room in Loma Linda, California, where they diagnosed me with having a low back sprain, which was crazy because I never had any trauma. At that time, they just injected me with Dilaudid and methocarbamol and Kenalog and sent me home with a bag of pills. This would go on for 4 months. As I was dying in a chair, eating up to about 40 pills a day. That was prescribed out of about 15 different pill bottles that my wife would have to administer to me, and to keep me alive, essentially. And I felt like a prisoner in my own home, living in a chair. Again, as I was dying, and we didn't know why. We did not know why. The VA was negligent. And a series of medical malpractice actions would end up occurring over that 4-month period that nearly killed me.
So what did you do?
Well, after, my wife advocated for me heavily in not knowing how to be an advocate. She was just a wife and a mother. She thought she was doing everything the right way. A series of blood tests were denied, series of MRIs were denied. So we finally went out in town. She said, enough is enough. I was opened up by a private physician in downtown San Diego at Scripps Hospital, where they found a surprise on the operating table as they opened up my back and found that I had been being eaten alive by a bone-eating staph infection that was aggressively eating my spine and my bladder and a kidney, again, for 4 months. And very lucky to be alive, as several infectious disease doctors said that it should have went septic within about 10 to 14 days, and I should have passed, and my family would have been left, without their champion and their leader and the family of their father. So
pretty scary.
It's very emotional,
Sure.
time of my life, to go through all that, but I'm very grateful, and I'm a man of gratitude that I've been given a second lease on life here to kind of.
Well, and you have, because you're making a difference. You're moving forward and
Yes.
making a difference to other lives. Let's talk about that. How did you decide to write the tally bill?
After the medical malpractice and negligence occurred within the VA, we filed a tort claim for the losses and the permanent injuries that I've been left with. I mean, I still have surgeries up to this day, and it's been 7 years since this January. It'll be 7 years since everything kind of, changed, the course of our lives. We filed a tort claim. I lost my business. We lost our livelihood, my life savings, everything. We accumulated a lot of debt. My wife did everything she could to stave off financial ruin. The VA did claim full responsibility for the malpractice that resulted in permanent injuries and nearly my death. At the 1 year mark, they reversed course after they stated that they were going to be settling my claim, and they blamed it all on a 74-year VA legal loophole that shields the VA from paying any rightful compensation to veterans that have been injured in VA hospitals if they find that the clinician involved in the care or lack thereof is an independent contractor, that the U.S. government is no longer responsible for paying out the settlements to veterans that have been injured due to no fault of their own. So the more I looked into this, the more it opened my eyes as this was about as egregious of a loophole that you could ever imagine. The government has a lot of independent contractors that are working within the halls and the walls inside our nation's VA hospitals and clinics, but you don't know who they are because everybody in the VA hospital, they all have VA doctor's codes, they all have VA badges, they see VA patients, and everything about that would make them a employee of the U.S. federal government. However, these clinicians and doctors, the majority of them are independent contractors for a reason, because the VA is not responsible if they commit errors or omissions on the veteran population.
That's pretty scary.
Oh, yeah, it is. So if a veteran is injured, the majority of them that occur for medical malpractice, typically it results in death. So nobody has the energy to move forward on a claim after, something has happened as like medical malpractice that would cause death. The next of kin, the exhausting measures that are needed to go forward with all these claims are very painstaking, if you will. I was a lucky one. I ended up surviving, but it came at a cost. The cost is pain, severe pain. Like I said, the loss of my livelihood, the loss of an internal organ, and multiple surgeries on my spine that will, forever leave me in permanent pain. But the crazy thing is that if a VA employee is actually found to be guilty of this medical malpractice incident, the VA is responsible for paying out that compensation. However, this loophole has become so bulletproof and so it works in the VA's favor to the point to where they like having these independent contractors in there, because all they need to do is put one independent contractor anywhere in your case. Like in my case, there was like 12 clinicians that all failed to meet the standard of care, and there was a breach in liability. So I had one independent contractor on my case. So they were able to put that one independent contractor in a group of 12 other clinicians that all failed to meet the standard of care, blame her, throw her under the bus, do an about-face, leave me and my family holding the bag while the other 11 clinicians were free and clear. So now they don't even need to report that as a VA medical malpractice incident, because the person they held responsible is an independent contractor. So if it's an independent contractor, the incident never even happened. So that's how the VA waters down their annual numbers when they report these VA medical malpractice claims. Additionally, the way the loophole works is that the VA held onto this crucial information until my state statute of limitations ran. They dropped a letter denying everything based on a technicality, and then that's when they stated that they were not going to be settling my claim because the person that hurt me they blamed it on an independent contractor. So the law states that I need to sue that clinician in state court. The day that they dropped that letter to me, they had watched the clock, and the day I got that letter, it was 3 days beyond my state statute of limitations. So the federal government essentially put a honorable family on their knees, 4 beautiful, great children, an awesome wife, an all-American family. They destroyed by this loophole, by, again, withholding this information, again, stripping me of my right to due process in federal court and state court, no accountability and no justice and no legal recourse. So I was left one of the biggest cases in the VA, having gone through some of the most trying times in my life with the medical malpractice, and now they had thrown legal malpractice on me, and we're really operating in a very criminal and fraudulent type way.
So what have you done in the tally bill to change things?
When all this happened, I contacted my congressman in San Diego. Very soon after, I showed him all the evidence and everything that had happened. And see, the VA, my case went public. It became a national news story. So the VA put out messages all the time on the news saying that they were, again, the guilty party here. And they ran this as long as they could. And then at the very end, they said, oh, nope, it's an independent contractor. So this is something that the VA didn't, dispute. They agreed that it was bad. So I went to my congressman. Well, he was indicted not long after this happened on federal charges. So he was forced out of Congress.
Really?
Leaving me the biggest, the biggest case in the biggest VA case in the country, and I didn't no longer have a member of Congress. So everything that could have gone wrong in my case did. And at this time, I was a broken man, broken physically, broken emotionally, broken mentally, losing everything, and fear and anxiety and depression riddled my broken body to the point to where it became very, very difficult for me to even make it through the day. And at times I nearly thought I wouldn't make it through the days, as the pain was so hard on me going through everything that I was going through. But one day I decided to get up and to get 1% better, and that started in 2018, about 2.5 years after this had all started. I said, if I don't have a congressman, I'm going to become my own member of Congress. It's just not going to come with a paycheck. It's going to come with sacrifice and literally standing up for the good of the country, to protect 20.2 million American veterans that are now at risk of this loophole. So I drafted my own bill. I picked up a law book. I drafted my own bill. I created a grassroots team behind me. I took a red-eye flight out of San Diego to Washington, D.C., where I delivered my bill to the very steps of the Capitol building, where I would walk the halls of Congress, going door to door, urging lawmakers to change an outdated law that has destroyed the lives of veterans and their families for generations. And through my hard work and my tenacity, I was able to get 4 bills introduced in a period of 3.5 years, and successfully lobbied Congress in the most divided House and Senate our nation has ever seen, to bring Democrats and Republicans to the same table, and to play the adult in the room at times, to beg them to come together for the good of the country, for the betterment of 20 million American veterans who don't deserve to be treated this way once they've been injured due to no fault of their own. And again, through the grace of God and a lot of prayer and again, the tenacious efforts, I was able to earn a seat at the table, being a citizen advocate, and have a lobby in a very effective way that was sincere and genuine and meaningful for everybody to fully understand just how dangerous this loophole was. And through these efforts, we got the bill passed on January 5th of 2021. President Trump signed my bill into law that closed this loophole. So now the VA can no longer hold on to this crucial information on purpose to protect their independent contractors, essentially. And now they must come clear with the employment statuses of all these clinicians that are working unidentified in these VA hospitals. So now the veterans will have their due process rights reinstated, as well as the employment status of the clinicians that hurt them, so they know what route to take to file, whether in state court or federal court, when these medical malpractice incidents happen. So they can no longer cherry pick these clinicians to their advantage and save the VA literally billions of dollars annually in paying out rightful compensation to veterans that have either been killed or permanently injured.
So this is the Tally Bill, VA Employment Transparency Act, H.R. 4526. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I had four bills. I had H.R. 7105. I had Senate Bill 4883. I had Senate Bill, I had House Bill 4526, and then House Bill 3813.
Four bills.
Several champions in Congress to include, Mike Levin, Mark Meadows were two of my biggest champions. And then I think I had over 50, co-sponsors through four bills in two different Congresses. I worked the 115th Congress and the 116th Congress, and pretty much became the name and the face of VA policy.
And I think you've done a great job, yes, of pushing it through. We're running out of time here, Brian, because we had to try to scurry to get you on the phone because you weren't able to make it in person. But I want to talk about this extensively, possibly at another time. But if they want to research this, they can find out by briantally.com. Is that correct? Where they can find out.
I have a website. Yeah, that's briantally.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they want to find out more about the case and everything that happened, they could just do two Google searches, one Brian Tally, U.S. Marine veteran, or they could search Brian Tally VA medical malpractice, and there's thousands of stories out there, literally, and from the from your local news to your national news to all the military articles to a lot of the legal stuff, from attorneys posting and doing their own write-ups and stuff on it, because the law did change, and the law has never been modified since 1946. So it's a big deal for the veterans.
So I'm going to have to close out this session of our show, and I appreciate the information. Want to give a shout out to Roger Stein Chiropractic and Team Sinisi Real Estate Group for their sponsorship. And Brian, I appreciate you coming on, and we will talk a little bit more on another Monday when you can come in and share your story. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.